Alright, I'm sorry, I won't say it again, please, just get up,
Stay nutty and get your geek on.
What's up, guys? BC coming back at you guys with yet another video. This is going to be part 2 to my Soundwave review, and today we're going to be talking about the tapes. Now, as you can see, here's all of them except for Rat Bat in this very shot right here. As far as the accessories go, to get this out of the way, is basically the cases that they come in, and these. We'll get into these when we finally have these fully transformed. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and kind of just go through each of them one by one. So, with that said, let's get into it. The one that comes with Soundwave standard is Laserbeak. So, there he is. And the cases just open up, and out comes the tape. So, yeah, there we go. That's Laserbeak in a nutshell. Really neat little figure. Up next is Buzzsaw. Basically the same exact idea as Laserbeak, only a different color. He's yellow instead of the red. Very nice. Up next we got Frenzy. Or Rumble, if you're from Japan. Or, you know, you're wrong. So, there we go. There is Frenzy coming right up. Whoops. I freaking dropped him. And there you go. The red trim, the detailing. This is basically the cassette, the part that would face forward in the chest, and this is obviously where the robot's at. So, yeah, there you go. Up next is Rumble. Do I even really need to say it? He's basically blue. Out from the case. Front. Back. There we go. And last but not least, Ravage. Out from the case he comes. And mine's a little iffy on this side, but, you know, it's whatever. There he is from the back. Probably the cleanest one in the back, where you really don't see much else other than the paws and stuff. But there you go, there's Ravage. Gimmickry-wise, well, it's kind of obvious what they're going to do. But for that, we're going to need Soundwave. So, with just the wave of my hand, there he is. And with just the slightest bit of readjusting, we're going to go ahead and have him open his chest. Take a cassette, slot it right in, close it up, and now he can have Laserbeak eject for whatever operation he needs. And one of the things that I've noticed is, for whatever reason, my Soundwave does not like to actually, you know, deploy them. They tend to get jammed in there, so let me go ahead and figure out getting them out, and then we'll come back and do some transformation. Since these guys are basically really small, there's really no point in going step by step. I'm just going to go ahead and do it all in one shot. So we're going to go ahead and flip these little wing bits up. Then we're going to fold these things over. But before we do that, we got to get the head out. Fold these over. Flip his little wing things on his thrusters up. Swing his little birdie legs down. And then spread this out. And there's Laserbeak. And the transformation is so smooth. It's so clean. I love it. So, there's Laserbeak. Well, you know. In case it wasn't already obvious, I'm gonna... Yeah. Let's get to it. And there we go. Buzzsaw. Once again, he's just Laserbeak, but with yellow instead of red. Alright, time to move on. My personal favorite of the two, Rumble. We're gonna go ahead and... wow, I just confused myself. Frenzy! My favorite of the two, Frenzy. Just gonna go ahead and straighten these out. And flip his feet down, and there are his little legs. And in case you didn't already see it, it was collapsed like that. Just go ahead and pull that up. That'll give him his midsection. Bring these down. Come in here and flip out his little hands. Which, for whatever reason, is a lot easier said than done. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Alright. Then, let's see if I can actually do this. Ah, there we go. Awesome. Flip up his head, spin it around, and there is Frenzy in robot mode. And what can I say other than I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Articulation's a little wonky on him, but you know, it's nothing I can't work around. So let's go ahead and get him standing up. Stand up, come on. There we go. There we go. Clearly enough, it's going to be the exact same thing over here for Rumble. So we're going to go ahead and with the snap of a finger, and there we go. Once again, as you can see, it's basically this, but 2 shades of blue. Yeah, there we go. There's obviously a couple other things that we can do with these guys to make their robot modes a little bit more complete, but we'll get into that once we actually start talking more with the accessories. So with that said, let's move on to the final cassette. Now the final cassette is Ravage, and this one is a little on the weird side because there's a lot of extra stuff that you got to do with this, but it's no big deal. So basically you do what I just did there. Flip these bits out and then come in here and flip out his nose. Then we go ahead and close this up. That tabs together, and that's the entire Jaguar head. I tend to call him Panther personally, but you know, it's whatever. And that just fixed it. Okay. That was bugging me for a while, but it's whatever. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and come in here and kind of start moving things to get them untabbed. So there we go from there, and then we just kind of come back here, flip up this little tail section, fold these back, and then we bring his panther legs around like this, bend them in half right here, and that should give him a better looking overall profile. And then these rotate like this, and I feel of the animal ones, well, look, all these cassettes, by far, Ravage is unfortunately the weakest. There's a lot with him that just doesn't quite work as well. You know, he's got next to no head movement, which is sad. Ball joints in the shoulders, little bicep swivel there, elbow bends, foot moves, kind of the same thing back here, only he's got that joint as well. The rocket boosters that would normally get lost on the original G1 toy, they're actually molded onto him now, so that's good. His tail is one piece. Yeah, I don't know what else to say here, guys. It's, he's not terrible, but he's not great either. So I'm going to go ahead and get him into more of a standard Panther pose. And we'll go ahead and get the rest of him in here. There we go. Hopefully this angle will help you guys out a little more. But there we go. There they all are in what is effectively just the stock tapes as their robots. This is a solid looking little team of robots. I mean, given what they are, I think they're fantastic. Do I feel they could have been better? Yes, absolutely. But I'm going to be real. With the size of them, I'm very impressed with all of them. Minus Ravage. He's kind of the weak one, but I can live with it. Now, one of the major things that I need to do here, like these three, for all intents and purposes, they're done. I mean, Laserbeak and Buzzsaw here, they both share the same gimmick of the little spy camera in their head. So if that matters, you know, they both have it. But other than that, as far as gimmickry and articulation goes, he basically has all the leg movement. These two basically have nothing. So these three really, like, at this point in the video, they're complete. They're done. But a lot of the fun with these cassettes that, you know, let me get these three out of the way, comes when you get to these two. And with these two, you have these. One of the neat things that you can do with these is if you notice on their back, that big gaping hole, this, with these two tabs, fit right in there. It all just clips right into the back, and they can tote these around as like giant backpacks. Granted, it makes these guys extremely back heavy, but you know, there you go, it's an option. You can do that. Let's see if I can, there we go. Now, that's one gimmick that you can do with them. The other gimmick, I'm gonna go ahead and actually, like, I'm gonna take them both out of here real quick. And once you take the top off, you open this up and slide these out, and there's the little back blasters, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and take those out specifically for Frenzy for right now, because these, whoops, have a little tab that flip out from the back. And what these are going to do is they're just going to plug right in to here. Actually, wait. I think it's those. Is it these? Might be these. Fairly certain it's these. Yeah, it's the bigger ones. Okay, so retract that. It's the bigger one. The bigger one slots in there, and now Frenzy looks a little more complete. I love that look. I really do. Now, of course, with Frenzy, I usually tend to just put these back together and let them chill to the side. For Rumble, on the other hand, let's go ahead and do the same thing for his little bat guns. So with just this, with once again the snap of a finger, there we go. Now he's got his little bat gun things on. But we all know how Rumble is. If we were to take his arms and do a little thing with them, kind of just go ahead and fold his hands back up, it's pretty obvious what I'm about to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring him over. Because if we flip this open, the same exact cavity that we store the bat guns into is where his arms are going to go in. Now, bearing in mind, I've only done this a couple times. I'm still not quite fluent with it. But if memory serves me right, they just basically clip in. Or at least they fit over his arms. So let me go ahead and do this off camera real quick. Okay, so PC is a fool. I have it like this, trying to put it on. You actually have to have his arms pointing straight up, because it will literally just slide and clip right in. And then you close that up on top. And now you have the pile drivers. which you can indeed have him leaning over to do a proper pile driver. You can do it a lot better than that, but it's whatever. Let's go into the articulation with these guys. The head rotates, ball joints in the shoulders, little elbow bend, nothing at the waist. Really, really weird legs. The knee is interesting, and the ball joints in the ankle. So, relatively pretty posable little dudes. But, you know, that's basically it. That's the extent of them as their own. But once again, if we bring in Soundwave, things get interesting again. Coming back up to the top floor just right quick, there's these little clips on the backs of these that would initially plug right into the back of the cassette. On Soundwave, they latch onto his arms as like giant batteries. Like giant sound emitting batteries. This has got to be one of the coolest accessory uses I have ever seen. But we're still not done. Because if we were to take these, specifically while he is in tape deck mode, these store in his feet. And how this works is basically you open up this compartment and there is a specific way this slots in. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to be able to show this properly, but you would basically put that in there and it would store in the foot. This is a lot of work that I'm kind of not willing to do because honestly, very little payoff. So, I believe I covered everything. Actually, no. No, I haven't. I have not at all, because there's one thing that we definitely need to cover with Soundwave right quick. And that's the clear tab on his forearm. It kind of doesn't really serve much of a purpose on its own. But when you bring Laserbeak into the mix, now all of a sudden it has a use. There's a little slot in the bottoms of his feet that just fit right over that and allow him to sit on Soundwave's arm. This is sheer perfection. And of course, if you really wanted to, you could fold this back and via using these, you could put either Laserbeak or Buzzsaw, whichever you choose. You can put them on his shoulder. This is ingenious. How there's so much playability and capability with these figures. Just this whole entire thing has a means of actually playing with the Soundwave. There's actual play features here with an NP scale figure. Now, granted, there is one more gimmick that we can utilize. It's mostly with these and this. And it's also mostly used in tape deck mode. This can plug in here, and then when you have this plugged into the side, you can basically just have these stacked on top of each other and have this going on. I'm not sure why you would do this, but like I'm pretty sure there's a reference to it somewhere. I'm not sure. Although this kind of does look like a bit of a spaceship. We're gonna give it wings and stuff like that. It's whatever. The typical fantasy stuff. Yeah. And I think there's one more thing that I can show off before we cut this whole video short. And that is with MP-13. From what I understand, you can indeed utilize that flat panel to have him feed Laserbeak. I love attention to details. I love it. I simply love it. Now, granted, this isn't exactly MP-13. I don't care. It's working for what I need it for. So, I think that's going to call it right here. final thoughts wise, let's talk about the negatives. Ravage is simply the weakest one. There's no getting around that. I cannot believe that Ravage turned out this bad. It's not that he's a bad figure. In fact, as a figure, he's great. Just in comparison to everything else around him, he falls short heavily. Buzzsaw, unfortunately, he's missing a pin. It was originally in him, but it fell out. And then it disappeared. Now I don't know where it went. So I can't just repair it. So that's a major issue. Some of the paint applications on my set is a little iffy. Just a little bit. But, you know, it's nothing that I can't fix. Some of the gimmickry, while I do admit is very cool, I highly doubt I'm going to use any of it. So this kind of falls into that whole thing of maybe there's more accessories than is worthy, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know. There's something about this that doesn't feel like we need all this. Like, did we really need the backpack cylinders to hold the pile drivers? Did we really need these little case things? Did we really need any of that? And that kind of goes with Soundwave as well. But for Soundwave, I'm willing to work with it a little better because it works for him more. With the cassettes, not so much. These guys, I feel, do enough on their own. So take that for what you will. Positives wise, these guys are a blast to mess around with. They complement Soundwave perfectly. The shelf that they go on, they match perfectly. Display-wise, they're just awesome. But the fact that you get so much value out of these little guys, especially when you have Soundwave with them, it goes a long way to make these guys feel way, way, way more worth their asking price. And I feel like that brings this whole video to a close. So this time around, I'm not really gonna rank these guys individually. If I was forced to, because I'm not about to go get those actual seal sticks. I'm saving those for the next video that I'm doing after this. These, so let me be real. The bird mold, an easy gold. The humanoid mold, definitely gold as well, and Ravage bronze. I'm not big on Ravage. He's not that great. But the rest of them are pretty great. In fact, like I said, my personal favorite is the humanoid ones. There's just something about the Frenzy and the Rumble that I really, really love. Again, he's Frenzy. He's Rumble. With that said, I feel like this is going to truly draw the video to a close. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you appreciate the fact that I had to split this up into 2 videos. There was no way I was going to be able to do all of this in one video. There's just no way. Of course, I'm saying this and I did MP-14, but that's besides the point. Yeah. I feel like I'm done here. So, yeah. With all that said, guys, this is BC saying Standard and you get your geek on. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.